It's about 2.5 hours, Lauren, to convict Latasha Daniels on those 2 counts, but they did acquit her of that final charge.
A jury of your peers has found you guilty of second-degree murder in count 1. The jury has found you guilty in count 2 of reckless endangerment, and the jury has found you not guilty in count 3.
Now, Latasha Daniels was convicted of shooting and killing Brodus Perry at his Collierville apartment. This was in April of 2019. That shooting also left Perry's wife injured. Next month, Daniels will learn how long she'll serve in prison for that shooting.
And ABC 24's Ezekiel Telemaco breaks down the verdict and the punishment each count carries. Ezekiel?
Yeah, Lauren, after 4 days and hours of deliberation, the jury has finally reached its decision in the Latasha Daniels murder trial. Now, the Arkansas woman was accused of killing Mississippi Boulevard Christian executive pastor Brodus Perry, and now we all know her fate. Now, Daniels showed little reaction as the verdict was read in court. Daniels was initially charged with first-degree murder and attempted murder in the 2019 shooting that killed Perry and injured his wife. Now, prosecutors say that while they were hoping for a first-degree conviction, they still believe that justice was served.
The difference between first and second degree murder is premeditation, and the jury, it seems obvious to me, that just made a determination that we had not met our burden of proof on premeditation. We had proved that it was a knowing killing of another person, but we just didn't quite get there on premeditation. And like I said, we can disagree with it and respect it both at the same time, and that's where we are. It's not exactly what we asked for, but it's not a bad verdict.
Defense attorney Arthur Horn said that he believes that the jury understood that this case was a crime of passion.
I mean, I have mixed feelings. From day one, we believe that this was a voluntary manslaughter. We believe count 2, the reckless, was criminal intent reckless homicide was a fair verdict, and we were happy about the not guilty verdict on count 3. So again, we always thought that this was a crime of passion and that there was adequate provocation based upon his manipulation and the things that he did to her during the course of their relationship.
And you all called Latasha Daniels to testify. Tell me what was the things that you guys thought about when you made that decision.
There was so much of this story that only Latasha could tell. The police only had so much information, and Tabitha Perry did not have a lot of this information. So there was all of these gaps that there was no explanation for, that Latasha had to be the one to fill in for the jury. But also, she wanted to tell her story to this jury. She wanted them to understand how she felt when this was happening. And that's why we did push for that voluntary manslaughter and the reckless endangerment, because she was under such emotional distress when this happened that she was not thinking clearly.
When you go to sentencing, will you push the fact that she has no criminal record and try and see if you can get, I think it carries 15 to 25 years, will you try and push for the lower end of that due to no criminal record in the past?
Absolutely. So second-degree murder in Tennessee has, for someone with no prior criminal history, has 2 potential ranges of punishment. There's a mitigated range that carries 13.5 years, and then there is a standard range 1 offender for someone with no prior felonies. That carries 15 to 25 years. We will absolutely be arguing that a woman who is 46 years old and has absolutely no criminal history and has done so much to try to better those around her. While she was incarcerated, she wrote a book for incarcerated mothers. She wrote a book for the children of incarcerated mothers. She has lived her life trying to help people. What happened on April the 4th of 2019 was not the actions that ever would have happened with Latasha Daniels if she was not in that state of distress.
And how is she feeling? I know you guys have probably been able to talk to her. How is she feeling right now?
I mean, go ahead.
I think she's a little bit in shock. I think she's struggling with the idea that she's going to probably have to spend at least another decade in prison. But I think she also understands that, you know, this happened for a reason, and the way she handled her previous incarceration, I think she's going to be fine.
Could that prior prison time count towards?
Oh, absolutely. Whatever jail time she had, jail credit she had built up, that'll count toward the ultimate sentence she'll receive in Division 2.
I know you weren't the original attorney on this, but since you've worked with it, what has it been like as you've worked through it, what you've discovered? Has it been like peeling back an onion, or when you got it, was it really already mostly there? The evidence and the proof.
So like I said, this has been a very unique type of case that we talked to the jury about that day one, in that there's actually a disparity of information in our favor in this case, which is very, very unusual. So a lot of the discovery was not disputed information. Where the dispute came was from the mental state, and that could only come from Latasha.
I think the other big point that needs to be emphasized here is, a lot of times in our society, we only view abuse as physical. And in this case, this really highlighted the mental abuse that she went through with this person that took advantage of her. I mean, he was supposed to be her therapist, and he knew her deepest, darkest secrets, and he used that against her, especially with her being a person that had prior mental health issues.
Attorney Horn, I arrived late and I apologize if this has been asked. Has she spoken to the pastor's wife since the shooting? And if so, what was that conversation like?
I don't think she's ever.
She wouldn't have been legally allowed to. There would have been bond conditions and other court order prohibitions against contact.
Has she expressed any interest in reaching out to her and apologizing or having a conversation with her?
I think that's something that probably will be addressed at sentencing. Mm-hmm. And just knowing Latasha, getting to know her and the person that she is, I'm almost 99% sure that she will write a letter or make statements to Tabitha about her actions and apologizing for her actions. Because even in their banter back and forth, she was, she didn't want to shoot her. She never meant to shoot her, and she was shocked. I think Tabitha was shocked when she was shot.
And Latasha has been genuinely remorseful in all of our communications with her, not just as to Tabitha, but even as to Brodus. This is a weight that she carries every day.
Is she getting mental health therapy in jail, and do you think that therapy is adequate?
She's been out of custody. She has been getting mental health help, and I know that I'm confident that she will continue to get mental health help, and I hope that they offer adequate services, but we won't know until time shows.
How much time did she spend in jail before the trial?
About 4 years. So she's got a little time under her belt.
Will that count toward the sentence?
Yes.
Time served, you think?
No.
No?
It will count as jail credit, but that will not cover the range of exposure.
There is no part of what those officers saw that was cool and calm and reflective in Latasha Daniels. They saw a woman in an emotional crisis. While the police were there, after Latasha was taken into custody, they called the EMTs who came and rendered aid to both Tabitha and Brodus. They were then taken to the hospital where they both underwent surgery. Tabitha, thankfully, was okay. Brodus was not. He did die as a result of these gunshot wounds.
That's the legendary Arthur Horn right there, y'all. Sitting next to Latasha. C.M.G. hitmaker.
That has never been in dispute. There are several things that are not in dispute. It's just a difference of whether you look at it from far away or come in close to actually analyze it. to see the details that make it up.
I'm almost certain I could tell you like what she thinking about. Like as Lauren is doing her closing, I'm sure Latasha is like reliving every moment that happened the night that she killed the preacher that she was having an affair with. I'm sure Arthur Horn was brought in on this case. He represented a young lady that worked for the jail years ago. Can't remember her name. Um, she killed her boyfriend and utilized her son to help her hide the body in a dumpster. And after they hid the body in the dumpster, they went to the movies, her and her son. Arthur Horn represented her, and they won the case. She was found not guilty. So I can see why Latasha brought Arthur Horn, aka C.M.G. Hitmaker, on this case. I would have too.
Tabitha came in to testify.
First, I would have got Manny Aurora, though, the best attorney in the world.
And she talked to you about what she saw on April the 4th and what she experienced. And she was utterly confused by all of this because she had no idea what was going on. She had no idea why Latasha would be there. Because Brodus hadn't told her that he saw her earlier in the night. She had no idea that Brodus and Latasha had had a 2-year-long relationship. That this woman was desperately in love with her husband. She had no idea. And that wasn't fair to her. That absolutely was not fair to her. But even Tabitha came forward to say that she didn't think that Latasha meant to shoot her.
Come on, Arthur Horn. Come on now, you sleep. See, that's what we ain't gonna do. You are not gonna fall asleep during the closing arguments, and the rest of my natural life is on the line. That's just disrespectful. If I was Latasha and saying this, I would be devastated.
She also told y'all that she watched the clips that we watched before. She never said any of those things. She never had those conversations. She never had those conversations with Latasha. She didn't alley-oop him any woman. The hard nose for her was anyone. But he lied to his wife about that. And he lied to Latasha about that. He lied to Chriselle and Danielle about that. The police department then start their investigation. They took Tabitha's statement. Chriselle actually reached out to the police department to provide them these videos because she believed that Tabitha knew all of this. That this would be so helpful to them because obviously Tabitha knew everything and he was being so honest and transparent that they needed to have this information. Instead, they handed over evidence that showed that Brodus was manipulating all of these women. They collected the receipt. They collected the video surveillance from the gun store. They did a faraway view of what this was. And they looked at it and said, well, she bought a gun, she drove to Memphis, she went to Collierville, and she shot them. None of those facts are in dispute. Not a single one of them. But there's a lot more to it. There's a lot more to it. When she made that drive, she didn't go straight to Collierville. When she made that drive, she went downtown. Dr. Erica Curry came in and testified, talked about the gunshot wounds, trajectories, things like that. The fact that Brodus was shot multiple times is not in dispute. The fact that Latasha is the one who shot him is not in dispute. She is not coming here to tell you, I didn't do this. She's coming here to tell you that when I did this, I was so overcome by my emotions that I behaved in a way that I would not normally behave. I would note, with the autopsy, it does show no stippling, no muzzle imprint. What that means is that the barrel of the gun was 3 feet or more away. When Latasha was describing where everyone was sitting, and I believe Tabitha did too, Brodus was sitting directly next to Latasha. He was in the blue chair. She was on the end of the couch. She was within arm's reach of him. And nothing happened. The other doctor that testified was Dr. Bidding. She is both a clinical and a forensic psychologist. The difference in those two things are one can kind of look at your whole picture and gather information for a legal process, and the other one can gather your whole picture and look at it for a diagnosis process. She does both of those things. And she has a very impressive CV to go along with it. And when she met with Latasha, she did find a significant trauma history. She did not find malingering, which means no evidence of no evidence that Latasha was not being honest in her answers on these psychological tests. She actually found that she tended to underreport her symptoms, which was consistent with her history of always having to put on a good face. Dr. Bidding does not just blindly rely on what someone tells her. She listens to what someone tells her and then compares it to outside sources, especially for that legal process. And she did that here. And she found evidence to corroborate what Latasha was telling her. She read the police reports, including narratives about Latasha's appearance on the scene. She read Tabitha Perry's statement describing what had happened. She watched the video of Brodus Perry talking to Chriselle and Danielle about seeing Latasha at the cigar bar that night before going home to Carterville. He read Latasha's journals. She read Latasha's journals. And all of those corroborated what Latasha was telling her.